If you're looking for an easy, delicious, plant-based, oil-free sauce that you can use for a ton of different tasty Indian dishes, then you're definitely going to want to stick around for my masala curry sauce. Let's put it together. I originally invented this sauce because I was going to create a cookbook with all kinds of easy sauces so you could throw together fast meals, but I never did the cookbook. I ended up creating the actual sauces instead. Nonetheless, I wanted to show you this sauce today because it is so simple and delicious. You can make a big batch and put together all kinds of different Indian dishes. We're gonna do 3 today, but you'll see you could do a ton of things with this sauce. You could even use this as your morning smoothie or as a plant fertilizer for that matter. All right, let's jump right in. I'm gonna be using my food processor for a lot of the chopping. You can mince everything by hand pretty small if you really wanna chop till you drop. But if you don't have a food processor, I really recommend getting one because a lot of what we do uses this thing. It is a magical tool. I'm gonna start out with like 2 serrano peppers for a batch of this sauce. You can use 0 if you're a wimp because we are gonna use some chili powder in the sauce as well. But I like to use actually like 4. So I take it to the next level. And all I'm gonna do is chop the tops off. You can cut them in half and then use your paring knife to pull the seeds out because the seeds are a bit of the spicy part. And then just throw those in the food processor. And along with that, we've got a nice big chunk of ginger. I'll peel off the skin of the ginger and we can chop it up a little bit and throw that in the food processor too. I'm gonna take about 12 cloves of garlic for this nice big batch of sauce. Just peel your garlic and throw those into the food processor too. Of course, you can use the minced garlic if you want to. It's a little easier and faster. It'll accomplish the same thing. All right, we've got everything in our food processor, so let's put on the lid and we'll fire this thing up. And I wanna let this thing grind until pretty much everything stopped jumping around so you know all the pieces are really nice and fine. Next up, we've got 1 green bell pepper. I'm just gonna cut around the stem and seeds to remove the core, and then we'll take the good part, chop it up just a little bit to help the food processor and throw it in. And along with that, we've got 2 yellow onions. We'll peel those, chop them up just a little bit again, throw those in the food processor. And then we're not gonna totally pulverize it like we did with the ginger and the garlic. I wanna just pulse this a bunch of times until it would be like the equivalent of dicing it up pretty fine. All right, now I'm just gonna empty this food processor into a bowl so that we've got some space to do our tomatoes. We've got like 10 Roma tomatoes. You can use any kind of tomato you want. And I'm just going to cut the top off so that we get rid of the stem, quarter them to make a little space, and then we'll throw them into the food processor. And I'm gonna blend them up in the food processor pretty well, not till they're completely smooth, but till they're pretty well pulverized. All right, we're ready to get cooking. We've got our tomatoes and our peppers and onions ready to go. Let's hit the stove. What I like to do, get your pan nice and hot and I'll throw in just a little bit of water. And when that water starts sizzling, you know you're ready to go. Let's dump in our peppers and onions and garlic and ginger into the hot pan and we're just gonna saute these for a few minutes. There should be plenty of liquid if you use your food processor to grind everything up. Otherwise, add in a little bit of liquid so it doesn't stick to the pan and then we'll be ready to pour in our tomato mixture. So throw in your tomatoes and along with that, we're gonna add this delicious blend of Indian spices. First, we've got some turmeric, and then we've got some paprika, some ground coriander, a little bit of cayenne pepper, some garam masala, and some ground fenugreek. And then stir them all together to combine them well, and then bring this whole sauce up to a boil, and then reduce the heat and just let it simmer. Our sauce is cooking on the stove. I've just covered it. I'm gonna let it simmer for like 20-30 minutes. The longer this thing sits, the better the flavor gets. If it ends up too strong for you, you can always dilute it with more tomatoes to kind of bring down the Indian spice flavor, and it's simple as that. Because my masala sauce keeps so well, I just like to make it in huge batches. I'll keep a mason jar full of it in the fridge, and I'll throw together some quick, easy meals during the week, or I'll even freeze it. You can just let it cool, pour it into like a Ziploc bag or a freezer container, however you freeze things, let it freeze, and it'll keep for ages. You can thaw it out when you're ready to go. Let's get started with our first meal of the 3. It's gonna be a really simple chana masala. I'm just gonna take a can of garbanzo beans, chickpeas, give them a rinse under the sink, drain them, and then we're gonna throw them into a small saucepan on the stove. And to that saucepan, I'll just add a little bit of my sauce, as much as you want, and then maybe a couple handfuls of spinach. We can stir this around, let it simmer for a few minutes just to wilt the spinach and everything. You can cover it if you want to, but you don't need to cook this for very long because your sauce is already ready to go. You're just reheating everything, combining it, and boom, meal number 1 complete. Okay, meal number 2 is going to be a super simple aloo gobi, which is just essentially potatoes and cauliflower in our same sauce, of course. I'm just gonna core this big monster cauliflower, chop it up into some bite-sized pieces. Then we're gonna take some russet potatoes. I like to do russet, you could do gold potatoes, whatever. But we're gonna peel these, chop them up, and since we're steaming the cauliflower on the stove, I'll just cook these potatoes on the stove. So throw them into your steamer basket, let them steam until just before they're ready, and then we'll throw in the cauliflower for the last couple minutes just to soften it up a little bit, and then set all that aside. And for the sauce for this one, I like to blend it up a bit, so I'm just going to pour in a couple spoonfuls or so worth into the blender, blend up this sauce until it's nice and smooth. Along with the sauce, you might have to add a little bit of water in your blender just to get the right consistency. And then we'll just stir to combine with our cauliflower, potatoes, and boom, you're ready to go. You can garnish on a little bit of fresh chopped cilantro. Oh, it smells so good, it looks so good. Okay, we're on to our third and final dish. This is like an Indian biryani, an Indian style rice. It's a lot like my Mexican rice, where we're gonna saute everything and bring it together. But I've got a load of brown rice that I cooked and already cooled, so it's ready to go. You don't wanna use rice that's still hot, because once you mix everything together, it's just gonna turn into mush. So if you've let your rice cool down, it'll firm up a little bit and you'll have a better experience. Then I'm just gonna chop a few carrots, dice them up into some small pieces, and then along with that, I'll prep a little bit of zucchini that I'll dice up here, and then some frozen peas that I've just let thaw. Okay, and let's head over to the stove. I'm just gonna saute with a little bit of water these carrots. We'll put them in first so they can soften just a bit, because the carrots are obviously the hardest of these 3 veggies. Now that those carrots have softened up a little bit, I'll throw in my zucchini and my peas, combine those, let them heat through a bit, and let's throw in our rice and our same blended version of the sauce, just enough to get the consistency you want. Stir it all up, heat it through on the stove, and now we're ready to go. It looks beautiful and smells even better. Oh my God, it smells so good. Here we go, it's taste time. We got the Chana Masala. Oh, so good. I love the richness of the starch. The sauce is amazing. A little spinach, perfect. I could eat this for every meal. Next we got the potatoes and cauliflower. I'm eating right out of the trough, whatever. This one looks so good. This is with the blended sauce. The cauliflower is nice and crispy. The potatoes are nice and soft. It's a perfect balance. It looks like this would be a serving bowl, but this is just about the size a bowl of this I would eat anyway, so, you know, whatever. And number 3, the same size serving bowl of rice. You can't lose with this sauce. And that's all there is to it. One simple masala sauce, 3 different ways. Let me know down below what you think. If you want more oil-free recipes like this one, click right here and check out this playlist. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.